was not planning on running the New York City Marathon, but when someone offers you a bib, you literally and figuratively run with it. So I thought I would call in the professionals, and I hired Mr. ChatGPT to be my running coach. My goal is to run the marathon in under 4 hours, which is a little insane considering I almost ran the LA Marathon in just under 5 hours. So this video is gonna be all about me spilling the tea on what it's like to train with ChatGPT and everything else that comes along with marathon training. If you don't know who I am, my name is Julia. I create running and wellness content, and this is The Daily Deets. I wasn't planning on running the New York City Marathon. Don't get me wrong. I wanted to run the New York City Marathon. I entered the lottery and I was not chosen. And I was prepared to enter the lottery every single year until I got in. But apparently, the universe wanted me to run it. And so I got a bib last minute from my friend, and I got a text from him and he was like,
"Do you still want to run the New York City Marathon?"
The first thing that I did is I went to Google and I typed in Google and I said, "Can you train for a marathon in 8 weeks?" Every single article literally was like, "Do not do this, blah, 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 blah." And then of course there's me.
Am I the drama? I don't think I'm the drama.
I'm reading these articles and I'm just thinking to myself, sounds like I should do it. I do things for the plot. And so then I was like, well, Google's not doing me any good. I'm gonna go to ChatGPT and I'm gonna ask ChatGPT to write me a training plan. Mr. ChatGPT, will you please, put together a 8-week training guide for a marathon that includes cross training? And just like that, I had my plan to success, hopefully.
We'll see in a week.
Now, as I was looking at this training plan, something else occurred to me. A big problem occurred to me. This very aggressive training plan. All of my long runs were on Saturdays, and this is normal. This is very, very normal for a marathon training plan. But because I wasn't planning on running the New York Marathon, I had committed to travel pretty much every weekend, probably 6 out of the 8 weekends that I'm supposed to be training for this marathon. I asked ChatGPT to take the same program, but rewrite it so my long runs were on Wednesdays. Wow, let me tell you something. If you have a 9-to-5 job and you are training for a marathon and you can't train on the weekends, that means you have to get up really, really early on the weekdays. I got up super early every Wednesday and I was off for the races.
I was running 10 miles, 15 miles, 17 miles, 20 miles
before I went to work. And let me tell you something, elite. Running 20 miles before you go work your desk job is elite.
Am I better than everyone?
At the end of every week, I go to ChatGPT and I screenshot my running plan for the next week, and I've made it my wallpaper. So then every time I'm looking at my phone, I'm constantly reminded of this is what I'm focused on. This is my North Star right now. This is what I'm driving towards. So if I'm about to make a poor decision, I look at my phone because we're all addicted to our phones, and I think, oh, I have to run 15 miles tomorrow. Maybe that's not a good idea. Sometimes I do it anyway. You know what? Sometimes I make the decisions anyway. It's a good way to keep myself in check. At this time next week, I will have finished the New York City Marathon. Finished and done. The questions that I want to answer from running this marathon is, one, is it possible to train for a marathon in under 8 weeks? And I'm saying under 8 weeks because if I'm being realistic, if you look at my calendar and you look how I've trained, maybe I've had a solid 5 weeks of training.
Is it smart? We already know it's not very smart.
Number 2, can you use AI to train you for a marathon? Can you hire AI as your running coach? And is it good? Is it a good training program? Would I recommend it to other people? So those are my 2 questions that I want answered, and I will have answers to those literally in less than a week when I have completed the New York City Marathon. I feel like a lot has been stacked against me for this marathon. Time has not been on my side. Life kind of has been kicking me around. Sickness got me bad. It got me real bad. Twisted my ankle. That was not on my bingo card, but I stamped it. And the last thing that is not on my side currently is the fact that I am a woman, and when Mother Nature calls, she calls, and you have to answer the phone. I was watching a YouTube video literally yesterday, and the girl in this video said she was doing a challenge, and she said, I had to put my blood, sweat, and tears into this challenge. And you know what? This marathon is my challenge, and I will be putting my blood, because I will most likely be on my period, my sweat, and my tears into completing the New York City Marathon. I already thought the plot twist was just like not training long for this marathon, and then using like AI to be my trainer. But being on your period during a marathon is probably the biggest plot twist, because you honestly never know what it's gonna be like. But I feel like I have more with me than against me. Like, I feel so energized, and I do feel healthy, and I feel so loved and supported by my friends and my family. It's crazy. It's like opened my mind, and I'm just so grateful to have the opportunity to even run this marathon. So that's like a little emo, and I'm getting a little emotional, but here we are. The first 3 weekends, I was literally traveling. The first weekend, I was in San Francisco. The second weekend, I was in Seattle. The third weekend, I was in Huntington Beach. And then that was like my first 3 weeks of marathon training. I thought that those 3 weeks of just traveling were gonna be the hardest part of this marathon training. But when it rains, it pours. And sometimes things happen in life that you're not expecting. The next week after Huntington, I went through a big life change and emotionally was exhausted. And so that took a huge toll on my training. Typically, if you run yourself into the ground, you end up sick. So then after 3 weeks of traveling, 1 week of crying, I found myself sick and literally could not run. Like, I barely could get off the couch. So that brings me to literally 4 weeks of like not great training. The second half of my training, I was supposed to do another 3 trips that were all actually from the West Coast to the East Coast. And I made the executive decision, because I am the CEO and the main character of my life. I made the decision that I was just gonna say, screw it. I'm just gonna live in New York for the month because I'm gonna be going there anyway. And why not crash train for the New York City Marathon in New York? It just like makes more sense, right? It just makes more sense. I packed up my things and I came to New York City. Now this is truly where I started having fun. The last 3 weeks of my marathon training have completely shifted my perspective on like what is even possible for me during this marathon. My original goal was just to like run faster than I ran the LA Marathon. I looked up in my Garmin earlier today, like how fast did I run the LA Marathon? In my Garmin, it said I ran it in like 4 hours and 41 minutes, but I think that I stopped my watch when I was trying to go to the bathroom, because if you ran the LA Marathon, you know that the bathroom situation was so insane. But I actually think that like when I crossed the finish line, I think my time was like 4:50 something. So my goal was just be better and just finish the New York City Marathon better than the LA Marathon. But then I got to New York and I met some really, really cool people who pushed me on a run. This one person said to me, Josh said, "Can I push you?" I said, "Yeah." And I went on an 8-mile run and I held an 8:30 pace on an 8-mile run, and I wasn't dying. And that made me think, wow,
I haven't been trying hard enough.
and Josh said something that like really just like blew my mind. He's like,
It's supposed to be a workout.
if you know me, I am a professional yapper. When I'm normally running, I'm just talking to my friends the whole time. This run, I obviously was not talking. I was just running. During these 8 miles, all I was thinking is, I wonder if I can keep this pace. What would happen if I could keep this pace? After that run, I decided that my goal on the rest of my training runs were just gonna be not to look at my watch, not to look at my pace, but to intuitively run based off of how I was feeling. And that has what led me to the goal of potentially, hopefully running a sub-4 marathon. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do it, but I'm definitely gonna try. Everything was going great. I was PRing every single run in New York. And I don't know if it's like the energy of the city or the fact that I had this like new confidence and open mind of like what is actually possible of myself in this marathon. But I had to go on one more trip. I go on this trip. Amazing trip. And I'm on my first run. I did not sleep a lot. I was dehydrated. I hadn't really eaten. And my gut told me, Julia, do not go on this run. Like, don't go on this run. I stepped in the only crack in the road, literally the only crack in the road, while somebody was saying hi to me because I got distracted and I twisted my ankle. 2 weeks out, literally 2 weeks out from the New York Marathon. Spiraling would be the word that I would probably describe the rest of the night. Like ankle swollen, my knee hurt, inside of my ankle, outside of my ankle. And all I'm thinking is, wow, I went from like, oh, this is fun, I'm gonna train for a marathon, to, oh my gosh, what's possible? Am I gonna like crush this marathon and run a sub-4, to
I literally cannot walk.
and like what a roller coaster I've been on. I stopped running the rest of the week and I just decided to bike. I was like, I'm just gonna have to bike and I'm gonna have to do like minimal impact and just try to keep my heart strong. And that has allowed me to heal my ankle. My ankle feels great. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling strong and feeling strong, but I did miss out on some runs. So that was another week that was like kind of mid, not gonna lie. Didn't really get my runs in like I was supposed to, but
All I can do is what I can do.
the things that I'm worried about the marathon. There's a few things that I just think are so ridiculous about marathons. The fact that as runners, we only train, some people don't even train up to 20 miles. Like I trained up to 20 miles and we just leave the last 6 up to like chance. Like we're like literally just like, oh, the adrenaline will carry you through. What? When I was running the LA Marathon and I hit mile 20, people are like crumbling around me. I was like,
Do not look at anyone.
everyone is freaking me out, like freaking me out. So the fact that we leave the last 6 miles up to like God and the universe to like get us there, like that is so crazy to me, but I'm deciding to be positive and I'm gonna say those are gonna be the best 6 miles of my marathon. The other thing that I am nervous and excited about is the fact that like I'm wearing race day shoes. What does that even mean? Let me show you. I went out today and I got a pair of race day shoes. So these shoes have a plate in them. Apparently that's gonna make me run faster. You know, I'm not a professional runner. I'm literally just a girl trying to have a good time, trying to do things that scare me and trying to reclaim running because I grew up and running was a punishment for me. So I'm learning to love running and that means shopping. And if you think that running is a cheap sport, you should not start running because running is the most expensive sport I think I've ever been a part of. I am excited but also nervous to wear these shoes for the New York City Marathon because I haven't run in them. I'm gonna run in them just a few miles this week. They feel really good. I'm a big believer in fitspiration. If you like your outfit, you like what you're wearing, you're gonna perform better. So I did order like a cute little all black outfit with like these cute little white shoes. Maybe I'm gonna go buy some sunglasses. I don't know. You don't need to do any of this if you're training for a marathon, but I did. The last thing that makes me nervous or just like gives me a bit of anxiety is the fact that I didn't sign up for a shuttle in time to get to like the starting area. I don't really know what that's gonna look like for me. I have to like figure out how I'm supposed to get from the apartment that I'm staying in to like where we're gonna start running, which is not great. Hopefully I can inspire you to do something for the plot because when you live for the plot and you take the risk, life is just so much better and it's so much fuller and I feel like I'm just getting really yappy. I'm gonna stop there, but I really hope you like this video. I hope that if you're in New York, you see me and you cheer me on. I will check in after the New York City Marathon to see if I did it. And if I didn't, I'll also check in, but wish me luck. Shooting for sub 4, that's what we're gonna do. And yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you next week.